Today we're going to talk about the undiscovered organ. This is Just Be Well, the channel about whole life wellness. I'm Tom Sult, a medical doctor and functional medicine practitioner.
I'm Elizabeth, a registered nurse and also the wellness coach here at Just Be Well.
So what on earth is this undiscovered organ? And it's really this teeming ecology in our bodies. It's not just in our gut, it's in our nasal passages, it's on our skin, it's everywhere. There's even evidence that it may be in our brain. This teeming ecology of bacteria have a mass of about 3 pounds. If you scrape them all together, it's about 3 pounds, which rivals your liver in size. It has a metabolic activity approximately equivalent to your liver. And there are more active genes in this thing we call the microbiome than there are in the rest of your body combined. In fact, there are more cells in this microbiome than there are in the rest of your body combined. So it's a pretty massive thing.
Mm-hmm. It really is an amazing new way of thinking, I believe. I know when I first discovered this knowledge, I had been in a state where everything in my life was clean. It had to be clean because that was what you did. I mean, that's how you were healthy. Your house was
Kill
clean,
every germ.
disinfected. I mean, I used those wipes on all my surfaces, all my floors. Everything was sterilized. I was sterilized. My children were sterilized. We wouldn't go anywhere without hand sanitizer. I was kind of that crazy mom. And then I came into this realization that I'm doing more harm than good. I'm killing all the good. We need to play in the dirt. We need to have germs in our life.
Let them eat dirt, as one of the papers says about children who are raised in this kind of hyper-sterile environment actually have more allergies and what's called atopy, which is like skin issues and allergy and things like that.
That's true.
And so one paper was entitled, Let Them Eat Dirt. And it was really about looking at rural families versus, or like farm-based families versus urban families. And it turns out that farm-based families have far fewer allergies and atopy than urban families. So it is possible to be too clean, I think. This microbiome, there are signaling molecules in cells. So our body has a whole ton of these signaling messenger molecules. And it turns out bacteria have some of the same molecules. So these bugs in our gut, these bacteria in our gut can actually communicate directly with us. And they give us all kinds of messages. The first thing they do is they are the first line of defense for detoxification. They have enzymes in their system that are very similar to our detoxification enzymes. So when you eat something, the first thing the stuff you eat encounters is really, your digestive juices and all that business. But once it gets into the intestines, it's this microbiome, film of microbiome around all surfaces. It's about 30 to 50 microns thick, and it's part of the barrier function of the gut. So, you've heard of leaky gut. Well, part of fixing leaky gut is a healthy biofilm, which is just a bacterial slime film. And you hear on the internet, oh, kill the biofilms. Biofilms are bad. You got to kill them. No, dysbiotic or pathogenic biofilms are not good, but probiotic, healthy biofilms are essential. So, and then, you hear people doing stool analysis and they want to measure the microbiome. Well, what's coming out of you is not necessarily the same as what's adherent to your gut wall. So this idea of which bug is doing what, we're in our infancy. We're not even in kindergarten yet about how much we understand this microbiome, although everybody and their brother wants to sell you a product that's going to do this or do that. There's very weak science suggesting that'll actually happen. What we do know is that if you build it, they will come.
So how do you build it?
Diet. You build it with prebiotic foods. So what we know is that the more monoculture, in other words, the more you eat few things, the weaker your microbiome. The more you eat diversity, the better your microbiome. And the diversity we're looking for is soluble fiber. So fibers that are soluble in water and are not digested by the human body. So what we're really talking about there is a whole bunch of plant matter in general. And I'm sure there's going to be meatitarians that are going to tell me I'm wrong and so on, but I'm only looking at the science. There's a few papers on being carnivore. There's a ton of papers on vegetables. And I'm not advocating necessarily being a vegan. I'm just saying lots of plant matter in your diet, whether you're a paleo. A well-designed paleo diet isn't cheeseburgers. It's at least 50% vegetables by weight, fruits and vegetables, plant matter by weight. So this notion that paleo is all meat all the time is just not true. Now, ketogenic is, obviously less plant matter, and carnivore is less altogether. But these are sort of extreme diets. Humans didn't evolve on one extreme diet, and we have been able to occupy every niche on Earth. And we do that because we have amazing metabolism that can manage a lot of different diets. But what has been true, if you look at blue zones around the world, and these are places where people live a long time, every one of those diets involves lots of plant matter.
So the goal is to get more plant matter into our diet. How do we do that? What is the recommended number of servings? We hear the 3 to 5, but really it's more 5 to 8. 5 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables.
So you hear get your 5 a day all the time. And that comes from 3 to 5 vegetables, and they take the 3, and 2 to 3 fruits, and they take the 2, and they get 5. Nobody talks about get your 8 a day, and that's only for healthy people. If you're not healthy, what about 10 a day?
Right. You're making up for lost time. You really want to overload your diet with vegetables. And you can do that in a number of ways. A morning smoothie. You can sneak in a lot of good things in a morning smoothie. And if you add some fruit, some almond milk, they really do taste great, and they're fast.
You can take a gigantic handful of spinach.
Like 4 cups. I have 4 cups of spinach in a smoothie.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can do. And if you take some kale and some chard, now we're talking diversity, right? It's not spinach every day, spinach every day, spinach every day. It's chard, it's kale, it's any green leafy thing that you can think of.
And toss it in there.
And toss it in there and grind it up. And, you're basically drinking a salad. It's a pre-chewed salad. That's what a green smoothie is. And it's a huge source of prebiotics.
Or beets.
Beets.
And if you think about it, when we saute vegetables, we do a ton of vegetables. I mean, probably like sometimes a half a gallon at least of different types of vegetables that we throw in a pan. And when you saute them,
they shrink down.
It's amazing the amount that you can actually get in your diet.
Right. And the beauty of it is that there's a lot of bulk in vegetables, so they don't have a ton of calories until you start soaking them in butter and whatever else.
Which you might want to soak them in some oil if you want to feel full for a long period of
time.
time.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You do want to add some oil, but if you're eating vegetables, you're getting a lot of mass, and it makes you feel full. And then if you add just some oil, it keeps you feeling full for a long time. Unlike, many diets where you're confined to this little pea, a high plant matter diet will give you a lot of bulk. And as was said by an expert in the field recently, it's really hard to get a protein deficient diet on a whole foods calorie sufficient diet. So, people worry about, oh my gosh, what if I don't get enough protein? Well, if you're not getting enough protein, it means your diet doesn't have enough variety. And if you think about those 10 fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables per week, think about 10 different vegetables a day, I meant to say. So that's 70 vegetables, fruits and vegetables a week. Well, you start running out of choices if you go to most stores. You're going to have to go to specialty stores to start finding weird stuff to throw in the crock pot, But diversity is the key. Wide and broad diversity, because the food is what brings the bacteria. The bacteria are constantly flooding through us, and they stick because of the food that's present. So that's important. It's important for many, many things. We've talked 100 times about leaky gut and molecular mimicry and how that leads to autoimmunity as one example, or it leads to food sensitivities or food reactions of some kind. So having an active, diverse, robust microbiome is critical to every facet of health, ranging from mental health to digestive health and everything in between.
Yes, and I don't think people realize that. They think, well, I'm taking a probiotic, but probiotics don't colonize.
Probiotics are placeholders. If you have an injury, let's say you've gotten a viral gastroenteritis and you've been pooping your brains out for the last few days and your guts are messed up, taking a probiotic will be soothing. It will help restore the gut somewhat, but that probiotic will not colonize your gut. There's only two things that have been shown to colonize your gut, and that is changing your diet and a stool transplant. So I was going to start a hospital called Stool Hospitals International for Transplantation, and you can work out the acronym, but I decided that might be crass.
Instead, we focus on diet.
Instead, we focus on diet, yes. Not as glamorous, but certainly just as beneficial. So this is Just Be Well, the channel about whole life wellness. If you like this content, please subscribe. Please hit the bell so you get notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.